Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, we've got Loki the Deceiver dropping it into people's accounts really soon on this kind of like free giveaway login reward for the Asgard event. There's also going to be the Loki chase where you get the souls for Loki all the way up to a 5-star soul. So I'm on the test server here. By the way, this never happens. We've been given the free login champion on the test server. Normally, that's not the case. So I'm actually able to do a little bit of a deep dive on Loki ahead of you guys picking him up, which is good because I'm actually behind in picking mine up because I've been away in Germany, in Cologne for Gamescom, showing off Godforge. By the way, video dropping on the Fateless channel about the full demo showcase today. Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Tomorrow, we're going to be dropping a full breakdown of the Gamescom demo of Godforge, playtesting the level, showing you the roster screen, showing you a little sneak peek around the animated kind of like campaign story mode as well. Make sure you come and join us with the live premiere tomorrow, and damn, it's going to be a big drop. Also, make sure you're on the website fateless.gg to sign up to the beta, which will be launching early next year. We'll see you soon. So yeah, Loki the Deceiver. Is he deceptive enough? I do like his skin a lot, by the way. I like the kind of like flourish around the staff. You can just see the kind of like, is it like the serpent's head? You know, he kind of, I was watching this show, this kind of like, what was it called? I can't even remember what it's called. It was on Netflix. It was kind of budget, but had a Loki and a Thor, and they were fighting the giants, and Loki's kind of like growing this huge serpent, which apparently is his kid. I don't know. It's weird. Anyway, we should know the name of it now because you're probably all like, what the hell is he talking about? Anyway, someone will probably say it down below in the chat. Yeah, Loki the Deceiver then. So we'll get him for free, and he, I think, is going to be really cool for Hydra actually. So we've got an A1 here, attacks all enemies, boosts to 50% chance of increasing the duration of all enemy debuffs by a turn. So for Hydra, that's massive. A chance to just continuously A1, get more debuffs out. And because it hits all enemies, if you put him in something like a cursed set, or even provoke set, but I would say cursed is going to be better, you're going to spread hex all over that enemy line, which means you're going to get more damage out of your team. So I think that would be a good way to go on him if you've got a decent curse set. The very baseline is just give him speed and give him accuracy, honestly. It says here as well, if this champion is under Veil or Perfect Veil, the chance goes up to, or increases to 50, but actually 70%. So that's a really nice A1, especially for Hydra. The A2, on a 3-turn when you book it out, selects the target. If the target is an enemy, 100% chance of putting block, active steals, and block buffs. Block buffs is great for Hydra. Block active steals is great for PvP specifically, and for stuff like, I guess, faction wars. Anywhere where you've got like a wave of annoying enemies. Block active steals basically just means they're coming at you with their A1 abilities. So this is really good for PvP and waves. This is really good for Hydra to try and deal with that kind of like poison head, and to deal with the head of Wrath a little bit as well. It says here, if the champion's using this skill when under Veil or Perfect Veil, also does a debuff spread, takes 2 random debuffs and spreads them around. So you kind of want him to go first so that he spreads his block buffs. Although if you've got one other debuff out there, like, I don't know, an HP burn, for example, if you're pairing him with Ninja, then you might get him to go after that and be like, well, I'm going to spread the block buffs for sure, but then I'm also going to spread that burn everywhere as well, which will be, you know, obviously a massive damage increase. It's a bit like a Tuhanarak that spreads debuffs as well. When you get further into the fight, if you're going full auto, you don't necessarily know what he's going to spread around. So you might not even spread block buffs at all if there's a bunch of other debuffs on the enemies, which I'd say is his weakness when it comes to Hydra, but the ability alone is pretty damn good. It says here as well, if the target is an ally or himself, is a heal by 50% of his max HP, and then puts Perfect Veil on him for 2 turns. If he's already under Veil or Perfect Veil, we'll then do a buff spread as well, taking a random buff and spreading it to allies. So It's a bit of a funky kit because you kind of want him to always be under a veil or perfect veil to get the best out of his kit. Like, it's massively improved. So you might end up actually pairing him with a Rectodrath or a Duchess or a Firral, and utilize this kind of like veil or perfect veil even more effectively. So we've got a 75% boosts to 100% chance of stealing all buffs from a target and 100% of their turn meter. Cannot be resisted if you are under veil or perfect veil. So this is very PvP focused, or again like wave based stuff, but really I'd say it's pretty much like live arena focused here. So you steal buffs away and turn meter, cannot be resisted, so accuracy not required. But this is the weird thing for me, you do need accuracy for this part. So I guess interestingly though, thinking on it now, you don't need accuracy to spread a debuff that has already gone on that didn't need accuracy. So let's take an example of, oh man, who's the bomb champ? Who's the bomb champion? What's her name? What's her name? Yes, this one. What's your name? Astrolith, yeah. So Astrolith has got this kind of like place 2 bombs that detonate after 1 turn, cannot be resisted. So if you try and spread that debuff, these 2 bombs, then he will be able to do that without accuracy as a bit of a cheeky PvP strat. So that could end up being quite a funky one. But yeah, that type of setup could end up being quite interesting. But again, this feels more PvP than PvE. If the target's turn meter was not stolen, fills turn meter of allies instead, and then gives them increased attack. So this is basically saying, if you're fighting a boss, we're giving you something else, because this can't happen. None of this is going to happen against a boss. The stealing of the buffs is kind of still decent, though, against a boss, against Hydra. So stealing buffs, if something goes wrong, could be good. But the increased attack is solid, and the turn meter fill is good if you're not stealing turn meter, which is pretty much every boss in the game, right? So I like the way they're thinking about how to make mechanics useful when they've got so many things that bosses are immune to. It's definitely an improved version of what they used to do. So I do like this skill. I actually think his kit's really good, but it's very focused on like 2 areas of the game, Hydra or PvP. We then got this passive, so places a veil, perfect veil on him for 2 turns at the start of a round. Start of a round is pretty much like a new wave of enemies, so you will only get this once in something like Hydra. There's not like loads of rounds in Hydra. There's 1 round, which is why I said you probably need to pair him with someone else that does veil or perfect veil to get the rest of his kit working like really effectively. In PvP, you could just get away with just him, because this will go on and you probably, within 2 rounds, you're either dead or you've won. So this is actually enough for PvP. But anything like Hydra, you kind of need him with someone else. Also places perfect veil for 1 turn whenever he drops below 50% health. Again, that could be your answer in Hydra so that he does it by himself, but that would mean you need to go decent amount of health, low defense, so that he's taking like chunky hits. And I just think you're susceptible to death, honestly. So I'm not sure about this. He's then got quite an interesting new skill. We've not seen this anywhere else before. So 15% chance to evade an enemy skill and all of its effects. So it's as if it didn't happen. That's just the Deceiver, the trickster part of Loki's kit. I do like the way they've done this. It kind of like ties into the lore of Loki. If this champion's under veil or perfect veil, it goes up to 30%. So pretty much a 1 in 3 that any ability that's coming at him just doesn't land. It's kind of nuts. You've then got an active effect as well. This champion's HP is below 50% when targeted by an enemy skill. Has a 100% chance to evade that skill and all of its effects. And then it goes on cooldown for 4 turns. It's pretty cool. I like it. As I say, like live arena, it's going to be good. Some PvE stuff, it's going to be cool as well. But overall, I think his kit is decent. Because we get the 5-star blessing on him, I've gone for cruelty because I'm basically going to be showcasing mainly Hydra here. So he's got accuracy in all battles. Cruelty at 5-star is solid. So decreases target's defense by 2% per hit, up to 30% for champs and 15% for bosses. So at that 5-star level, we're gaining a 15% defense reduction for all bosses after, 7 hits. It's really good. The other good thing here is the stats, honestly. You get so many stats for level 5 blessing for a legendary champ. Yeah, you got like 7. Well, I'll show you on the on the stat page. It's easier to see. So we've got 8.5k health, 750 attack, 600 defense, loads of crit damage, accuracy and resistance. Like, pretty much pumps him up to, you know, a good level before you even start doing anything else. Especially if you're a newer player. Damn, those stats are massive. It's like you're wearing a full set of accessories before you put any accessories on by getting that blessing. It's a huge boost to your stats. So for Masteries, I think it depends what type of playstyle you're going to go for. If you are thinking like pure PvP, you'll end up with Eagle Eye, and you're going to be going heavy on the accuracy, kind of like parts of the tree. You probably would go for PvP, honestly, like pinpoint accuracy down into Lure of Steel, like the kind of like regular ones. You might drop Cycle of Magic to get your abilities back quicker, or you might drop Evil Eye just to get a bit of turn meter pushback. But then I think you would just go into Eagle Eye as the main accuracy piece. And then on the defensive tree, you would just come down. And for PvP, I think you would take reduced damage when being hit by crits, kind of down the left-hand side here. And then things like Delayed Death and Resurgent, which are really good PvP Masteries. But for the build I'm going to do today, which is mainly focused on Hydra, we're just going to be doing like an old school, what I would call an old school clan boss build of Masteries. So going to be doing the kind of like main accuracy ones. We're going to drop the Arcane Celerity. I guess you could have done Arcane Celerity and Rapid Response because of the buff he puts out, but it's not very realistic that you get it a lot. So I think Celerity is good for more turn meter, some more stats from this, and block buffs going out for more turns, I guess, is pretty interesting. Could even, let me just check again actually on that block buffs. It is 100% chance to land once you've booked it, and we've got no other buffs. Yeah, so if you don't book it, then you could do this sniper, but I think you probably would end up just going with some more damage here. I think I would take this. Maybe this. The last one's kind of like irrelevant. I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of killing. And, I mean, this is good if you're doing like a base level, like Hydra build, and your team is not great, so that when people are dying, he gets back to his abilities even faster. But yeah, the main ones is make sure you get enough accuracy and make sure you get enough speed in your build. So I'm going to try and go for a cursed set. I don't have good cursed gear at all, by the way. It's never been something that I've farmed hard. So this is me literally just trying to find relatively quick stuff. So, you know, if I'm thinking about the build I want to go for, I'm just going high speed. And then, yeah, I'll have some accuracy if you can find it, please, game. So we're just going to grab some pieces here. I do like the way they've done this kind of like, the change to the filters. They did it a while back, but does make this type of build way easier. Defense is good. I'd rather HP so I can get that kind of like kick in of his ability to get his own perfect veil up. But we've got a curse set on, and then I think you would fill it with some, I guess, feral, if you've got feral now from the kind of like new PvP mode, the siege. So you get a little bit of Brucey bonus building up there, because you might also have some accessories in it. But if you're earlier game, then probably just going to go with perception gear, and let's just find ourselves some gloves and a shield. A decent amount of speed coming on, and we'll grab, again, probably could grab crit rate, but I don't think it's relevant. I kind of just want to stay alive, so I'd rather have HP percent as my main stat. And what I'm going to do, so I'm not going to throw any accessories on, pretty much because I'm trying to showcase this as an earlier game build. No accessories on, which just means that all of the extra stats I'm gaining from my Great Hall are basically written off. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It's still not perfect because my gear is better than probably than most, but still, at least it's kind of like in the ballpark of where you might end up being. So Loki in cursed gear. I'm going to show him alongside Ninja, who is going to be in reflex gear. Again, just built to be fairly tanky and quite quick, so that I'm not building for damage. He's got enough accuracy to land his burn and speed to kind of do it a bunch of times. And he's got enough, well, he's actually got an accuracy mastery here, I think, because I was trying to show him in a dungeon like the twins. So, not the twins, sorry, the Sand Devil. So we'll just switch that out to do a similar build to what we've just seen there on Loki. And this combo, I think, is actually pretty nice. And he's all about trying to get his abilities back more frequently for me. So Loki Ninja is going to be 2. We're going to bring in Rector Giraffe as well for that kind of like enhanced Veils and stuff. Really for her, she's just got like HP, defense, and speed. So pretty tanky. I want to be bringing the Veil as often as I can. And basically the speed to be able to get those heals away. She does have an A1 with decreased attack as well. So pretty good actually at landing that against the head of Wrath, which is useful. So I've got Cursed bringing me Hex. I'm going to need someone to provoke as well. I guess let's get into my battle screen and then I can find out who else I'm going to throw in the mix. Okay, so just come up with a team here. I've got a Provoker. I've got one damage dealer in Ninja, a second damage dealer in an AoE enemy max HP with Husk. I've got my kind of like turn meter pusher in Deke and a drop defense. I've got Rector in there pretty much for the healing and for the perfect veil. Then obviously Loki in here. He's giving us the accuracy buff from his aura. You don't need to do that. Could go with Deacon speed if you want. But also giving us the, obviously his kit. We're giving his kind of like main kit. So let's just get this started here. I'm just going on normal because I want to show you how quickly we can hit the minimum damage requirement, right? So let's just go A1 on the head of Wrath. Try and get that decrease attack. Didn't get it. Speed up. Drop defense on most. Okay. So now Loki is going to do block buff somewhere. So you may as well... And it's a target attack. So you don't have to hit to do this, which is actually really beneficial. And also, he's going to spread block buffs. So it's completely affinity friendly. Doesn't matter if you've got negative affinity like this. It's going to land. So the cool thing here is I can choose someone that's already got one debuff out and spread that debuff as well as spread in the new debuff that I'm applying, which is the block buffs. So if you set this up like yourself initially, and then you go into your auto mode, then you should be in a good spot. I'm now going to provoke this. This could be a Shizo if you're kind of like just trying to get your minimum damage away. Ninja obviously with the A2 because that's where his damage comes from. And we already do like 360k. Enemy max HP smack. And I've already got my minimum for my chest, okay? I know that people are going to be like, oh, that's because of gear and stuff. I'm telling you now, even if I guess even if I didn't have the Husk, the Ninja alone, with that combination of a Provoke, the block buffs going out, the burns going out from Ninja, you would get your bottom chest requirement just doing that, okay? So, in fact, let me just run it. Let's take this out. Perhaps take him out. Let's just try this. Do I still hit my bottom chest requirement? That's what I'm going for. So I've lost my Deke. So now we're just going to do the block buff spread. We're going to provoke. We're going to get the Ninja damage away. Try and get those burns out. We've got rid of the poison cloud. That's not a problem. I can just... Do I need the heal? Kind of don't even need it really. I might just keep trying to put the decrease attack on. Little tip as well. Rector Draft can place the decrease attack on a weak affinity target. She's kind of bugged in a way. There's no buffs to steal. So at this point, we would just do a turn meter fill for our team and give us increased attack. You can see we've already done 480k damage. We're just reliant now on these burns ticking away. And we're going to get... I don't even need to heal still, so I'm just going to try and get decreased attack on. We'll try and just get an A1. Hope we get hexes somewhere, which is cool. It just means more damage. And we've already done enough damage here at this point, and I'm going to burn again to get my minimum requirement, right? So that's how easy it is with this combo to get yourself a chest in Hydra. Now, obviously, with the way they've changed the Hydra chests and this kind of like new way of getting maximum damage and stuff like that, then there's more to be gained from trying to do big keys with Hydra. So I'm going to set this up and just go on auto, and let's see how big this team can go with, I'd say, like a decent setup, but not anything crazy. All right, so let's just get my setup running. I'm going to spread the debuffs that I want. I'm going to get my provoke out. I'm going to get my A2 out. And then I'm just going to go full auto and let this bad boy run on hard. So we're not going the like really hard settings, but just to show you how effective this type of combination can be. We're going to take some heavy damage from the head of Wrath before too long. Probably So once the provoke wears off, I can just select, like if you want to be like semi-auto, I can select the head of Decay and just make sure that Husk is A1 in at least over on the left there. So I've got another chance of a provoke. Didn't land it though, because you don't really want to have the debuffs kind of like cleaned off, but it happens. And obviously we then would need those back up. I've got 2 opportunities in this team of revives. Rector, wait. Rector's like, I won't revive Ninja just yet. I've got some other things I want to get done first. Some other little chores to get to before we get involved with that type of stuff. There we go. But yeah, healing is our challenge actually in this particular squad. I've only got 1 version of healing coming in, and that's from Rector. Other than that, we've got a kind of good damage output. I wonder if I even kind of need Deacon, honestly. Deacon is... He's giving me a turn meter fill. He's giving me drop defense, but most of my damage is just coming from alternative methods. So swapping out Deacon for someone who just does more support stuff. So, you know, someone else who's in there to heal might be another kind of like boost from where I am right now. Okay, so we're going to go for a full run. Just go on auto here. I'm bringing in another healer instead of Deek just so that we can survive longer and see what sort of damage we can get away on a longer run. So we set it up on AI so that the block buff goes out. Then Ninja does his burn. If you're going like semi-auto, then you're going to want to click the head of Decay to make sure that someone like a Husk is getting his provokes away. But we should be pretty solid. The head of Wrath might end up doing some nasty damage to us, and that's the reason why I brought in a second healer instead of Deacon. That way we've got almost like 2 people naturally healing up the squad. But yeah, we should have a decent amount. And then obviously with that curse set on here, we're getting the chance to get Hex away, which just means a little bit of extra damage as, you know, Husk does his big hits and stuff like that. So we'll let this one play through and see what sort of level of damage the team is doing. And yeah, see how the team does. So look, I guess you get the idea. This is going to keep going, and let's just see what the kind of like damage numbers are looking like here. So Loki with the 5 mil, he's getting a bit of a bonus damage boost from the curse set, getting some extra damage from like what what Husk and Ninja are doing. Ninja coming in big with the 10 mil, Husk with the 6 mil. This would have kept going for days, but obviously I've got probably some enhanced gear to what maybe you guys have got, still shows like Loki, I think, is going to be the entry into Hydra for tons of people, especially paired with Ninja. And then I think into some sort of later game accounts, still really relevant, actually. So cool champion to get. I think Hydra and PvP is where he's going to be best suited. Maybe I'll do something separate on PvP with like specific builds more towards, you know, that kind of like live arena setup. But let me know what you think of him down below, and I'll see you in a video soon.